for a copy?
My name is Logan Davis. I'm a mechanic, just like my dad before me, and my grandfather too. When I was just 5 years old, passing my dad his tools as he repaired cars in front of our house, I never imagined I would have reached the places I have. But here I am, after a lifetime of hard work, good friends that offered great opportunities, and becoming a real expert in certain types of engines. I am boarding a spaceship for the first time in my life. I stand in awe in front of the giant structure that is meant to take me and several other people into space. The thought brings chills to my entire body, but at the moment, I'm merely excited. There are nerves, of course, but I don't feel fear. Not yet, at least. I have no idea I'm a few hours away from experiencing terrors that no human should ever experience. My thoughts are interrupted by a strong arm falling around my shoulders. It's the captain of the ship, Marcus. He tells me, "What? Are you scared, kid? Don't worry. All first-timers pee their pants on the first day." He laughed as he walked away, bumping shoulders with his co-pilot. I try to laugh as well, pretend that this is just friendly banter and it only means that I fit in with the crew. But that's all lies. I watch as the onboard doctor and the pair of scientists that will be dropping off at the space station walk past me without sparing a glance. Unlike the head engineer, when she passes by, she does look at me. But there's nothing but pure disgust and resentment in her eyes. Apparently, her daughter had been studying for years to get the job I have. I might not come from some fancy university, but I am confident in my knowledge and her nasty looks don't affect me. Not much. The only other person left is Andre, another engineer, but from a lower level. Closer to me than the other smug knucklehead people walking ahead of us. We were the brute force, hired to do the hard work and keep the engines running. Andre arrives at my side and affectionately slaps my back. He grins and asks me, "Hey, Logan, what do you say when we make it up there, we just let those idiots fall off the ship?" Let's do this. I followed him into the ship, feeling more confident on my feet and ready to start this adventure with a smile on my face. I don't think about Andre's words again for a long time. The ignition goes well, the takeoff is perfect, and we cross the atmosphere of planet Earth. Just seamlessly. Everything goes perfectly fine until the moment the captain announces that we're on a steady course and allowed to wander the ship and get to work on our respective stations. It takes less than an hour for things to go wrong. That's all it takes for me to remember Andre's words. Idiots falling off the ship. It's starting to look a lot like the ship is trying to get rid of us. The darkness is so sudden that, for an instant, I fear I've died. Then, I hear a couple of screams, which makes it worse. I feel the ship tremble for a few seconds, and the panels of the walls around us rattle all over our heads. My heart skips a beat, and then the lights come back on. I think. But there's something wrong. They start to flicker, on and on, slowly at first, then faster and faster, like the beating of a panicking heart. And finally, an explosion. Dozens of them, all over the ship. The lights explode one after the other. The glass breaking flies everywhere. The sparks leave burns all over the ceilings. Again, shrill screams all around me, and absolute darkness. Slowly, the emergency lights turn on, and it's almost worse. These red lights are built considerably stronger than the regular ones, and I know both kinds inside out. That's why I'm so worried. I know perfectly well that for these lights to explode like this, they need a very sudden and extremely high charge of energy, something that's far from expected irregularities. No, there's something deeply wrong with our ship right now. I don't have any time to lose. I had been on the storage room fetching a set of tools for Andre when this happens. So now I run all the way back to the engines room. The broken shards of glass from the lights crunches under my boots, and the red emergency lights flicker ominously over my head. Something stops me halfway through. One of the hallway's doors is locked, and I can hear the engineer, Tanya, screaming from the other side. "Help! Help! Is there anybody out there?" She yells angrily. Tanya, it's me, Logan. Are you okay?" I ask her. She replied with a very annoyed tone. "Of course I'm not okay. The lights are out. The doors are locked and I can't make my way out." I struggle against the locks on the door, but it's useless. Without energy on the ship, we need to pretty much dismantle the controls besides the door to open it up. "Tanya, I'm going to look for Andre, and we'll come back with our tools, okay?" I tell her. Before I get too far, she calls my name and gives me a warning. Logan, listen to me very closely. It should be impossible for the ship to lose power like this. There's something terribly wrong with our engines. An emergency like nothing we were prepared for. The distribution of oxygen won't last long. You need to bring me my suit and open these doors. You useless grease monkey! Now! I don't bother replying. I start running. I have a front row seat to the effects this power outage has on the ship. Doors are halfway shut. Wires are falling from the ceiling where the lights used to be, and sending sparks flying that I do my best to avoid. In one of the hallways, I finally glimpse a different kind of light. A flashlight being pointed right at my face. 2 figures walking towards me. "Logan," the captain asked me, "what the hell happened? What did you do?" Me? I have no idea what kind of mechanic we have on board, the captain interrupts me, "if you don't even know what went wrong." I took a deep breath to force myself to calm down. Fighting amongst ourselves is not going to solve this crisis, even if I'm the only one that seems to know it. So I share with my crewmates what I know. "This is a very grave situation, guys," I tell them. "I found Tanya, and she's locked in one of the hallways. I'm going to need specialized equipment to unlock the door. But first, she told me we should get all our suits on. The oxygen might not last long with a few this severe in our system." "Jesus Christ!" The captain groans and rubs the bridge of his nose. "All right, let's do this. It's going to be okay. I'll make sure of it." His promise sounded quite empty. I believe. He could be the captain, but only Tanya, Andre, and I could solve a problem this big with the power of the ship. Either way, we started running towards the area where our suits were. The journey isn't easy. The failure in the system leaves doors half open that we have to squeeze through, and 1 or 2 that relentlessly opens and closes, threatening to cut one of our limbs off. The co-pilot is caught in one of them, and she's lucky to keep her right arm. But the blood, there's a big cut on her shoulder, and her screams are still ringing in my ears. Just like the metallic smell of her blood fills my nostrils and makes the overall state of the ship much worse. She's going to need stitches, urgently. Otherwise, her suit will be a worthless effort. We agree to search for the doctor as soon as our suits are on, but that's when we hear someone yelling our names. "Logan! Captain! Tanya! Logan!" It's Andre. I feel a great relief knowing he's alive. Together, I'm certain we can fix any of the problem that's destroying our ship. But my relief is short-lived because I caught the urgency and fear in Andre's voice. The 3 of us start yelling until he reaches us. I almost don't want to see him knowing he won't be bearing good news. The emergency lights flicker above us. The ship trembles once more. The bad omens take my breath away. "You guys have to come with me," Andre says, reasonably foregoing any small talk. "The doctor is in the infirmary, and I can't open the door. And... What? The captain yells loudly at my friends. "There's a fire!" Andre yells right back. The captain and his co-pilot immediately run to the infirmary, fixing their suits as they go. I grab Andre's arm tightly to keep him from following them. "I'll go," I tell him. "Put on your suit and meet us there. We don't even know how much more oxygen we have left." After receiving a nod and a confident smile from my friends, I feel stronger, braver, ready to face whatever we have in front of us. But as I probably should have expected, I was wrong. I started running in the direction of the infirmary. Before arriving, I'm already hearing the doctor's screams. She's yelling at the top of her lungs. She sounds in incredible pain, and I can hear desperate banging on the door. But I know what a locked door means in these circumstances. When I reach the infirmary, I'm paralyzed. The shock seizes my body, and I watch helplessly. The captain and the co-pilot are trying to take down the locked door, while the doctor is being burned alive inside. Through the small window at the top of the door, I can see the flames dancing, and the doctor's burnt hand knocking with the last of her strength. It's fucking hell. I am convinced we're in hell. Do something! The captain tells me as soon as he notices my presence. Do something! His yelling snaps me out of my shock, but all I can do is shake my head. There's nothing I can do. I whisper. This man is desperate. He grabs me by the shoulders and shakes my body roughly, but it's helpless, and I tell him so. It's useless, Captain. Even if I had my tools, there's no time. We can't save her. Just then we hear the co-pilot scream. She flinched away from the locked door. The heat was too much to bear, and there were burnt marks on her suit, but even more concerning, her wound was leaking badly, and the red stains on her white suit made me nauseous. This could kill her, and quickly. But before we could figure out something else to do, there's another scream coming from nearby. Andre! I exclaim and run off to follow his cries for help. I notice the captain and co-pilot follow me, but we don't make it very far. There, in the middle of one of the hallways, it's the most horrifying scene I've ever seen. The two scientists that had been on board with us lie dead on the floor. There's a pool of blood around them, a gruesome open wound in the throat of one of them, and on the back of the other one. It's as if a beast had clawed its way inside their bodies. The co-pilot throws up. She looks on the verge of fainting. The captain looks pale too. Is there a chance, I try to ask, but there is no way to put my question into words without sounding half crazy. Captain, do you think something alive could have done this? Something from somewhere other than our planet? I see the captain gulp nervously, but he doesn't reply. Instead, he grabs me and the co-pilot and moves us forward. We have to go. Emergency shuttles, now, he orders. But Tanya, I mumble. It's useless as well. On our way to the emergency shuttles, we pass by the hallway where she was locked in. There's a puddle of blood coming from under the door. Something other than lack of oxygen must have killed her. We really are in hell and we have to escape, quickly. However, and this shouldn't have surprised me, I am left behind. When we arrive at the escape pods, we remember only 2 people fit in each of them. There's not even a discussion about it. The co-pilot is barely conscious. The captain sends me a solemn nod, and then the 2 of them enter the first pod, abandoning me. I can leave by myself. I can, but the last straw of their disrespect towards me hits like a ton of bricks. I told you, we had to let this ship people fall off the ship. I turn around hastily when I hear that voice behind me. It's Andre. He's standing there, a toolbox at his feet, a saw in his hands, the kind we used to cut through metal on the ship. Most of his suit is splattered with blood. Our crewmate's blood. Oh my God, you didn't do this. I sigh. I can feel my entire body tremble with the realization. Every moment Andre was missing, every one of his resentful comments, everything clicks. Everything makes sense. Yes, Logan, and you feel the same, don't you? I know you do. Andre nods again. This time his smile makes me sick. He really believes this. He doesn't even feel remorse. Behind us, The emergency shuttle had already taken off, but it only takes a moment to explode into a million little pieces on fire, including the bodies of the last 2 members of our crew. We'll go home as heroes, Logan. Everyone's finally going to respect us, Andre tells me. The psychopath wraps an arm around me and pats me on the back. If he's the one that ruined our ship, then that means we can fix it. No, Andre, I whisper. You're not going back home. He's so confident I agree with him, and he's so content, basking in the glory of his horrifying crimes, that he doesn't react in time. I grab his hand with both of mine and drive the saw directly into his throat. When he falls to the floor, I stab him again and again. The blood splatters all around us, all over me. The monster is dead. But I'm a killer now too, and I don't even know if I can fix this ship by myself. But I reassure myself by repeating again and again, the only truth I know, the only monster of the ship is now dead.